Listen to this whistle, a long call ringing through July sunshine. Then white steam bursts around iron wheels like 4th of July fireworks smoke. At the Nevada State Railroad Museum in Carson City, they not only display, but also, they run the machines for real. You will see V&T number 25 pulling cars back and forth like an old horse that still has strength. You will see the historic 440 Inyo standing there with bright brass and a faint steam hiss. Beautiful like a Western film. Then, a pointed-nose McKean motor car glides past, completely different from the familiar chuff. This is the steam engine. I stand close to the rails with you, hearing wheels go clack, clack over rail joints, hearing the exhaust valve hiss, and watching the whole yard come alive on a holiday. No need to say much. Just listen, and you will understand why people keep these machines alive to this day. V&T number 25, the holiday locomotive that goes to work. V&T number 25 is not sitting there as scenery. On July 4th at the Nevada State Railroad Museum, it is the locomotive pulling cars continuously back and forth, keeping the rhythm for the entire yard. Up close, you see the early 20th century passenger locomotive design, compact and solid in the body, driving wheels large enough for a smooth roll. And everything was built to endure a long shift. When the engineer opens the throttle, steam goes through the valve, the piston pushes, and the connecting rod pulls the wheels into rotation. Each chuff lands on the ground like footsteps. Because the yard trackage is short, the sound is very clear. Steel wheels going clack, clack over the joints. A light brake squeeze as it comes into the station, and a dry exhaust release as the train eases off load. Stand there for a moment and you understand a steam locomotive does not need to be fast to be compelling. It is compelling because the rhythm is steady. Mechanically, number 25 is a living lesson in energy. Fire in the firebox heats the boiler. Water boils into steam. Steam builds pressure, then is metered by the throttle. Steam enters the cylinder and pushes the piston, creating tractive force. Exhaust steam leaves and becomes the chuff we hear. And that exhaust jet also pulls smoke up the stack like an invisible fan.
More load means a taller smoke column.
Less load means a gentler sound. Watching number 25 work, you understand why people call it a working machine. No showing off, no style for its own sake, just durable, doing exactly what it was built to do. A few laps already sound wonderful, but in the yard there is another elder standing still that everyone has to look at. Inyo. Inyo, standing still and still making people go quiet.
FP tried those for a while too, but they...
Inyo does not need to pull cars to impress anyone. It simply stands there, and its presence makes people slow down without thinking. An Old West style 440. Brass shining under the July sun. Red wheel rims. A tidy body kept with obvious respect. You hear a very light steam hiss, like the thin breathing of an old man who is still strong. Sometimes a release valve spits a short white plume. Then it vanishes immediately in the hot air. A small moment that makes everyone lift a phone because it feels so real. The emotion of Inyo lives in the distance of time. 440s like this once pulled the American West through dusty roads and mining towns. Now it stands in a museum yard. But all it takes is one long whistle and the old scene appears. Wooden coaches, a small depot, people in wide brim hats, rails running into sunset. When you hear Inyo's whistle, you do not only hear a sound, you hear of an era when long-distance travel was an event, not an everyday routine. Technically, Inyo has its own kind of charm. Smaller machinery, clearer steam cadence, easier to see the moving gear than on number 25. Viewers often stand very close to watch the rods, hear the clack of rail joints, then smile softly as if meeting an old acquaintance again. And once you have had your fill of Inyo, the yard's tempo changes again. A pointed nose, self-propelled car slides through. The McKean motor car. McKean motor car. A pointed nose glides through, and the whole atmosphere changes. When the McKean motor car appears, the entire yard shifts tempo instantly. No more chuff and coal smoke. Instead, a tighter, steadier engine note and a pointed front like a ship's bow cutting air. Round porthole-style windows make it feel like something from the future of 1910. Back then, Virginia and Truckee bought the McKean to add passenger trips without needing a full steam locomotive and a long consist. Put simply, if you wanted something quicker to turn, with fewer people and less preparation, the McKean was the answer. What is interesting is that it feels like train travel, but also like a rail bus. The McKean is self-propelled, so starting and accelerating does not require raising steam pressure, loading coal, or waiting for the boiler to come to a boil. You hear the engine build smoothly. Then the car rolls over rail joints with a lighter clack clack, because it is smaller and carries less load. Older spectators often like this part because it shows how practical people were in their thinking. Steam is powerful but labor-intensive. A self-running car is economical and flexible, perfect for a tight schedule. The McKean makes people smile because its shape is unforgettable. A pointed nose, a steel body, like a gentle shark. It glides across the museum yard and loops back, leaving a completely different audio trail. Less coal smell, less smoke, more mechanical engine sound. As the McKean disappears behind the line of cars, the main track rumbles again with steel wheels and a train whistle. Number 25 pulls a fresh group of passengers into the next trip, and white steam covers the yard like a thin holiday mist. Standing still is enough to make people hold their breath. In the museum yard, there is a machine that does not need to run and still pulls people in. Glenbrook. It lies there like a big beast asleep, its iron body wearing a coat of time, rivets and steel plates telling the story in place of words. Many people slow down, look longer, as if meeting a family heirloom again. No longer used every day, but impossible to throw away. After taking photos, they still stay for a few more seconds. Glenbrook also reminds you of something very real. Preservation is not just repainting until it shines. To bring a steam locomotive back to the rails, crews must inspect the boiler, piping, valves, bearings, every pin and every bushing. If it is worn, they replace it. If it is cracked, they rebuild it to the proper safety standard.
That is why sometimes simply bringing it out into the yard for visitors to see is already a victory.
The machine is kept, it is cared for, and it is waiting for the day conditions are right for it to breathe again. Which do you like watching more? A working machine like number 25, a classic like Inyo, or a restoration in progress like Glenbrook? Comment just one name for the steam engine. The team will gather the votes and make the next episode based on what viewers call for the most. Across the yard, the boarding bell rings again. One steam run, one McKean run. The holiday rhythm keeps looping, with thin smoke hanging over the coach roofs right in front of you. The repeating loop. Loud, then quiet again, like a festival with a heartbeat. What makes July 4th at the museum so satisfying is the sense that everything moves in cycles. The train leaves the station, the whistle stretches long, steel wheels lock into clack, clack, then white steam breathes out in chuff beats. Next run, the McKean glides through, a tighter engine note, less smoke, like changing channels but staying in the same story. Spectators along the fence do not need a watch. They can tell whose turn is coming just by the sound. Hot oil smell, old coach wood, and laughter mix. The yard feels like a fairground. Because the loop track in the yard is short, you can see handling skill very clearly. Open the throttle just enough for adhesion. Brake smoothly so the coaches do not jerk. Exhaust steam at the right moment so the engine eases its load. Each time the train arrives, you hear a light brake hiss, then silence. And it is that silence that makes the next round of engine sound feel even better. Steam not only pulls cars, it pulls everyone's attention along with its steady rhythm. The festival beat repeats like that, but everyone has their own favorite corner. Some love the whistle, some love the smoke. Some only want to watch the connecting rods rising and falling, and many eventually stop again in front of the old gentleman Inyo, standing still, yet full of presence, like a character in a Western film. Inyo 440. Compact, quick to turn, pure Old West. One look at Inyo and you know it belongs to the early generation. A short body, small leading wheels to guide, 4 driving wheels in the middle to pull. Americans loved the 440 layout because it was flexible. Light rails, tight curves, rough grades. Only a compact locomotive could survive that. Inyo stands in the sun, brass shining. But what holds people is the soft steam hiss, like an old person who is still strong. Mechanically, a 440 feeds on a lighter rhythm. The leading wheels help it take curves smoothly. The drivers are just enough to pull a short train. The engineer opens a small throttle, steam enters the cylinder, the piston pushes, and the connecting rod turns the wheels. The physics lesson is right there in the open. Straight motion becomes rotation, then becomes attractive force on the rail. Inyo blows its whistle, the sound ringing dry and far. One blast and you can see wooden depots and dusty roads in your head. Many older visitors stand close to the fence and, just by ear, can tell when the engine is straining and when it is easing. Inyo does not need speed to impress. It lives in balance. Light enough not to damage the track, strong enough to pull, beautiful enough to be remembered. After taking photos, many people still turn back to look one more time. The whistle settles and the holiday rhythm rises again. No, 25 and the McKean take turns carrying visitors for another loop. Behind the scenes of Steam Up. Hold pressure, hold water, hold safety. For number 25 to run all day steadily, the hardest work happens before passengers ever board. The crew builds the fire, watches the draft, and feeds fuel gradually so the boiler warms up slowly. Pressure begins to rise, and a thin steam hiss appears at the valves. In parallel, they do an oiling around. Oil the rod pins, slide bearings, and valve gear. One dry point can become a noise, then become real wear. While the train loops, the engineer does not only watch the track, they watch the sight glass, keeping the water level in a safe band. Low water is dangerous. Too much water makes the steam wet, and the engine loses pull. The injector feeding water into the boiler sounds like a short hiss, then goes quiet again. At each station stop, they ease the load, exhaust steam, do a quick check, then open the throttle for the next run. Everything feels like a work shift with a procedure. The museum also has something precious: safety discipline. Fences keep visitors at a careful distance from wheels and rods. Staff remind children to step back when steam blows off. The whistle warns of crossings. That is why people can stand close to listen without taking reckless risks. After seeing this backstage work, your sense of the museum changes. This is not just a display. These are machines being kept alive so they can keep running. Conclusion: a whistle that preserves an entire Old West. The holiday fades, but the whistle stays in your ears. Number 25 pulls another loop, wheels going clack, clack over rail joints, white steam washing up and then dissolving. Inyo stands still, and still makes people go quiet, like an old photograph that suddenly has sound. The machine glides by clean and quick, reminding you that even a century ago, people wanted fast and convenient. The beauty of the museum is that it does not lock history behind glass. It lets history breathe, vibrate, and work right in front of you, so you can hear why fire, water, and steel once powered an entire region. When you step away from the fence, the scent of hot oil still clings lightly, and the chuff rhythm follows you all the way home like a decent, faithful memory.